There is a specific kind of cruelty that hides behind a smile. It's the kind that pinches you under the dinner table while making a toast to your health. My sister, Elena, was a master of this art. She cared about two things: image and bloodlines. To Elena, if it wasn't aesthetic, it didn't belong in the photo. And if it wasn't biological, it didn't belong in the family. Yesterday was the 50th anniversary party for the Calloway estate. My sister Elena had organized it. She lives in our parents' ancestral home, acting like the lady of the manor. She hired a photographer for a Vanity Fair-style family portrait. My son Noah is 5. He's adopted. He has my heart, he has my last name, but he doesn't have my eyes. When the photographer said, "Okay, now one with the grandkids," Noah ran over to stand next to his cousins. He was so proud of his little bow tie, and then Elena pushed him. Not a nudge, a shove. She looked down at him, sprawled on the grass, and said 5 words that silenced the entire garden party. "Biological grandchildren only, Noah. You mess up the symmetry." I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked over, picked up my son, and dusted off his knees. Elena rolled her eyes and told me not to be dramatic, claiming it was for the historical record. She thought she was the queen protecting her castle. She thought she held all the cards because she lived in the big house and I lived in a condo in the city. She didn't know that the historical record she cared so much about was sitting in a filing cabinet in my office. And she definitely didn't know that the Calloway estate she was standing on didn't belong to our parents anymore. It belonged to the person she just shoved into the dirt of my lawn. To understand why my sister is a monster, you have to understand the Calloway legacy. Our parents were land-rich, cash-poor. Elena drank the Kool-Aid. She believed that being a Calloway made her superior to everyone else. She married a man named Brad, a guy with a great jawline and 0 work ethic, because he looked the part. I was the black sheep. I went to state school, I started a logistics business, I worked 18-hour days while Elena threw tea parties. And then I adopted Noah. Elena was hostile from day 1. She'd crop him out of Facebook photos and forget to set a place for him at Thanksgiving. But the house was the center of her power. 3 years ago, our parents moved to a retirement community. Elena offered to move into the estate to take care of it. In reality, she just wanted to live in a mansion for free. What Elena didn't know is that 2 years ago, my parents called me in a panic. They were broke. The property taxes on the estate were 3 years overdue. So I made them a deal. I paid off the taxes and the debt, and in exchange, I bought the house. I put it in an LLC to save my parents the embarrassment, and I let them tell Elena whatever they wanted. So for 2 years, Elena had been living in my house. She had been playing queen in my castle, and she had just shoved my son into the dirt of my lawn. After the party, I drove away in silence. I pulled over and dialed my lawyer. I told him to execute the termination clause on the Calloway property, immediate eviction for breach of contract. I wanted the woman who told my son he isn't family out of my house. The next morning, at 8 a.m., I pulled up to the estate. Brad answered the door, looking hungover. I pushed past him. Elena came down the grand staircase in a silk robe. "Morgan," she said, "you have some nerve showing up here after the scene you caused yesterday. You ruined the vibe." "I ruined the vibe?" I laughed. "Elena, you shoved a 5-year-old. I motioned to the process server standing behind me. He handed Elena a thick envelope. "You are being served with a notice to quit. Immediate eviction," he said. Elena laughed. "Eviction? Is this a joke? My parents own this house. You can't evict me. I'm the heir." "Read the papers, Elena." She ripped open the envelope. Her eyes scanned the legal jargon. Owner, Phoenix Holdings LLC. Sole member, Morgan Calloway. Her face went slack. I bought the house 2 years ago, Elena. Mom and Dad were going to lose it to the county. I saved it. I own the roof over your head. I own the grass you pushed my son onto." She turned red. She screamed that she had rights. I told her she didn't pay rent, never signed a lease, and was a guest at will. And the will was gone. I gave her 24 hours to vacate. Then I delivered the second blow. I told her I had called the photographer from the party and bought the copyright to all the photos, including the outtakes. I pulled out my iPad and showed her the high-resolution shot of her face twisted in a snarl, shoving Noah to the ground. I posted this on the neighborhood Facebook group this morning, and I tagged the sponsors of your Little Mommy blog. She grabbed her phone. She watched as her sponsors dropped her one by one. "Biological grandchildren only," I repeated her words back to her. "Turns out sponsors prefer kind humans only." She lunged at me, screaming that I couldn't take her home, that it was her legacy. "Your legacy is a lie, Elena. You live on my charity. You wear clothes bought with Brad's credit card debt. You pretend to be royalty, but you're just a bully in a lace dress. You measured my son's worth by his DNA. Well, let's measure your worth by your assets. Get out." She looked at her husband, Brad, for help. But Brad was looking at the eviction notice. He realized the money was gone. The house was gone. And he told her, "I'm not going to a motel with you, Elena. I'm going to my brother's. I saw what you did to Noah. It was gross." She lost her home. She lost her husband. She lost her career. All because she couldn't stand the sight of a little boy in a bow tie standing next to her biological son. She was out by noon the next day. I didn't move into the house. It felt tainted. I sold it for $4.2 million. I put half the money into a secure account for my parents, and the other half I started a trust fund, the Noah Calloway Trust. We use the money to sponsor adoption fees for families who can't afford them. Elena lives in a 2-bedroom apartment across town. She works retail now. I saw her once at the grocery store. She looked at Noah, the boy she shoved, and I saw regret in her eyes. Not because she hurt him, but because she realized that the charity case she pushed away was actually the one holding the keys to the kingdom. She wanted to keep the photo pure. She wanted to protect the Calloway image. Well, she succeeded. The Calloway image is now one of generosity, love, and success, and she's not in the picture at all. Family isn't about whose blood runs in your veins. It's about who stands beside you when the world tries to push you down. And in my house, we don't push, we lift.